Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another session on strategic financial management. So today we're going to learn about two different costing systems. One is called as ABC and the other is called as traditional costing. So mainly we're going to focus on the ABC system, but it's easier when we compare the ABC system with the traditional methods. So you'll be able to get a better understanding when we compare. That's the reason I'm going to start with the traditional costing system, and then I will be moving on to the ABC system. Right. So now we're going to learn about ABC, meaning of ABC, meaning of traditional costing system. And we've already learned about cost pool and cost drivers. I think I've introduced the definition, or explained the definition twice. So I'm not going to touch that. So let's move on to the meaning of ABC. So before we learn about the ABC, let me give you a brief description on traditional costing system. What is traditional costing system? So traditional costing system, this is an old method that is being used by organization, and it is a pretty simple method, very straightforward, right? Traditional costing system is very straightforward. So it adds indirect costs or overheads to products using only one cost driver. Right? They only used one cost driver. Again, what are cost drivers? What are cost drivers? We learned cost drivers. What are cost drivers? I'm searching for an example. Yeah, here. These are cost drivers. Machine hours. Yeah, number of production runs. These are called cost drivers. So an increase or a decrease will have an impact. So these are called, yes, labor hours. Very good, Kaushi. That's a good example. They are called as cost drivers. So when we're using the traditional system, when we're doing the calculation using the traditional costing system, we will only be using one base or one cost driver to calculate the overheads, right? So this is called traditional costing system. Now we're moving on to the activity-based costing system. This is a method of accounting you can use to find the total cost of activities necessary to make a product. The ABC system assigns cost to each activity that goes into production, such as workers, testing a product, setting up of machines, orders passed for purchase of raw materials. Now, when it comes to ABC system, we use multiple cost drivers, right? So they break their overhead into different activities, right? So they find or they use multiple cost drivers. For an example, machine setup. Now you have machine setup cost, right? Machine setup, they use number of setups. If it is packaging, they will be looking into the number of shipment. These are the cost drivers they'll be using. What about traditional costing system? They will be only using one cost driver. Is it clear? You will understand it in detail. You'll understand it better when we do the calculation. That's the reason why I want to do a calculation related to ABC and traditional systems. Okay. So traditional costing, as I said before, they use only one factor. There is, yes, there is a differentiation here. So cost pools or cost drivers, one, ABC, they use multiple. An applied rate, this is volume based, and here it is activity based. Again, traditional, they use labor intensive, and ABC, capital intensive. And when it comes to traditional, remember, it is simple and inexpensive, but compared to ABC, they're not accurate. Now, ABC system, they provide a more accurate picture in the product costing compared to that of traditional costing system. So that's the reason most of the companies, they prefer ABC system over traditional costing methods, because they provide an accurate picture, because they will be using multiple cost drivers to find the overhead cost. Is that clear? Now let's look into the uses of ABC. Identification of necessary activities. Now, by using ABC system, we will be able to identification of necessary activities. Now, the ABC system shows how overhead is used, right? ABC breaks down the production process into individual activities. As I said, machine setup, quality checks, or packaging. So this helps the business to understand, to see exactly where money is going. So you can identify what is essential and what are the other expenses or production costs that are wasting the resources. Right? So this is one of the advantages or one of the uses of ABC. Number two, they focus on value-adding activities. The ABC helps the management on focusing the forces on value-adding activities and eliminate non-value-adding activities. What does this mean? ABC helps managers to spot non-value-adding activities. So meaning these are the tasks that consume time and money but don't improve the product or satisfy the customer. We don't need it. So how does it help? This focus resources on things that actually improve the product, customer experience, or efficiency. Next, ensuring profit margin. The specific allocation of cost helps to set prices that produce a healthy small business profit margin. What does this mean? ABC gives a precise cost data. So businesses can ensure that they're not underpricing or overpricing their product. So by knowing the real cost per product, companies can set prices that guarantee a profit. Whereas in traditional, you can't do that because they're only using one cost drivers for all the overheads. In that case, it's difficult to get an accurate picture. But in ABC system, they use multiple cost drivers based on the overheads. So this gives a more accurate picture and you're able to ensure a profit margin. Next, we have product pricing. With an ABC system, the business can assign costs to each activity in the production process, allowing it to more accurately set a price that accounts for how much it costs to create a product. ABC assign costs to each step in the production process, giving a full picture of what it really costs to make each product. So companies can price accurately considering the true cost of each product. Next, measures to improve productivity. The accurate cost information helps the management to adopt productivity improvement approaches like TQM, business process reengineering, etc. So what does this mean? With detailed cost breakdown, ABC helps businesses to identify where efficiency can be improved. For an example, ABC data supports programs like total quality management, which improve quality in all processes. What is total quality management? I've explained this before. Total quality management means you're improving the quality, overall quality, right? The overall quality of the product, meaning every level, every step that you take in producing the product, you are careful with the quality, meaning it's always quality check. Whether it's lower level employees, whether it's in the senior level of employees, everybody will be aware, will be focusing on the quality of the product or quality of the systems as well. So this is total quality management. And next we have helps in deciding make or buy. The management can take make. I think it's make. The management can make or buy decisions by considering the cost of manufacture of a product or subcontract the same with an outside agency through activity-based costing analysis. Now, what does this mean? Now, companies often outsource it. Now, ABC helps by calculating the true cost of making it. So if manufacturing a product in-house is cheaper or cheaper compared to that of outsourcing, then you might as well manufacture the product or manufacture the materials inside the house, meaning manufacturing it within the business, inside the business, if it is cheaper. But if outsourcing is cheaper, then that's the better option than making it in-house. So that is why now ABC will be giving you the real picture, right? Real picture, accurate data. These are the costs. This is the raw data that you require. So this helps you in deciding whether to make or buy the product. Is that clear? So these are the uses of ABC. And now I'm going to do a question related to ABC. And this question has the answers already, but there are errors. Okay, there are errors in these answers, which we will figure it out when we're calculating. There are a couple of errors in this question, sorry, in the answer. So give me a second. I'm going to take a screenshot of the question, and then I will share you the slide, okay? Okay, 1 second, please. Let me crop it and then share it. Okay, perfect. So now I'm going to share both the screens, both the documents. I hope it will be clear. And again, this calculation is not actually tested in your assessment or in your assignment, but you need to understand how this calculation differs in both the systems. Okay, and that's the reason I want to do the calculations. Let's look into the question. Amrit Company produces 3 products, A, B, and C. What are the 3 products? A, B, and C. And as you can see, you have 4 columns, and these are the names of the product, and the information related to the product is listed below. The company follows activity-based costing system. Information related to various costs of these products for the last year are as follows. Production and sales in units, selling price per unit in rupees, raw material usage kilogram per unit, direct labor hours per unit, machine hours per unit, number of production runs per annum, number of purchase orders per annum, number of deliveries to retailers per annum. And then we have the information. So this is actually Indian rupees. This example, I took it from an Indian book. And the reason why is because this gives a detailed explanation about ABC and traditional costing, which I did not find in other books. So that's the reason I took it. I took the example from that particular book. And then we also have some extra information here. The rise of raw materials remained constant throughout the year at rupees 1.2 per kilogram, and the labor cost was rupees 14.8 per hour. And the annual overhead costs are as follows. These are the overhead costs, and these are the information that we will be using to find the overhead costs. Clear? Is the question clear, everyone? Yeah? Let me adjust the screen. I think I will have to make this a little smaller. Oh, how do I do that? It's difficult to make this screen small. Okay, that's better. Okay, let me get this smaller as well. Okay, that's better. Right. Now we're going to calculate using the traditional method, right? We're going to calculate using the traditional method. First, in order to calculate the overhead absorption rate, okay, before we move on, overhead absorption rate equals to number of cost drivers used by overhead absorption rate, number of cost drivers used by individual products per annum over number of units produced. So this is the formula which we'll be using. Now let's concentrate on the question. Okay, everyone ready? Traditional method. Now first, what we do is we are going to calculate the total overhead. We're going to calculate the total overhead. So where do we get this information? We have the information here. Say 26,550, we took it. 66,400, it's over here. 48,000, it's over here. 54,320, it's over here. Are there any other overheads provided in the question? No, there's only 4 overheads. So what do we do first? Calculate the total overhead costs. Everyone, please take their calculators and check whether the answer provided in the document is correct. There's a lot of errors in this document, so please check whether it is correct. So I'll do the same. 48,000, 54,320. Okay, for me it's correct. How about y'all? You can comment on the chat box if it's correct. It's correct. Okay, I'm going to wait until another 5 students reply, and I'm going to continue. Everyone, start working. This is actually a training period. Okay, so I'm going to train you to use the calculator, train you to do maths. So the ones who are in the finance sector or who are in the accounting field, who are working in the accounting department or accounting section, not a problem. You guys are working with numbers all the time. But the ones who are not, you know, when you're out of practice, it's quite difficult to get on track. That's the reason I'm going to give you a training, because you have to do a lot of calculations for task number 1. Your task number 1, you have to do ratio calculations, you have to do analysis, you've got to do interpretation, and then you also have to do investment appraisal. So you have to find the payback period, you have to find the NPV, IRR. So there's a lot to do. And of course, you can use the Excel sheet, which comes handy in that case, but still you have a lot of work to do. So just take this as a training period. Okay, so everybody got the answer right. So is it clear? The first step is to calculate the total overhead. I repeat, we are in the traditional method. We're still in the traditional method, okay? Now we're moving on to calculation of overhead absorption rate to find this. We need to calculate the absorption rate to calculate the cost per unit. So now we are going to calculate the overhead absorption rate. Okay, so now we are taking the production volumes, which is here, 15,000, 15,000, 12,000, 12,000, because we have 3 products, and C, 18,000, 18,000. Production volumes into labor hours per unit, we will be able to find the total labor hours. Why? Production volume into labor hours per unit equals to total labor hours. Therefore, we are taking the direct labor hours per unit to get the total labor hours. Is that clear? And everyone calculates. So what we do simply is we multiply 15,000 into 0.1, 12,000 into 0.1, 18,000 into 0.2. Everyone calculate and see whether you get the answer provided on the document or you get a different answer. 12,000 into 0.15, 18,000 into 0.2. Everyone, please work it out. If you're done or if it is correct, type C on the chat box or correct on the chat box. So I'll wait for 5 responses and then I'm going to move on. Okay, everyone got it right. Great. And now let's move on. Now we are going to calculate the calculation of cost per unit. Now, what do we need? What information do we need to find the calculation or the cost per unit? What are the information? We need the raw material cost, right? How much does the raw material cost? Let's take the question. Let's take the question. Do we take production and sales in units? No. That is not relevant to cost. That is the production. That is the volume. So we're not going to take it. Do we take the selling price per unit? No, that is the selling price, which is cost plus the profit. Raw material usage? Yes. We need the information for raw material usage or the raw material cost rather. Have they given the cost? Raw material usage is given. Oh, yes, cost is given. Cost is given. It is given. So we need the raw material usage per unit to find the cost. Where is the cost? Who can tell me? And we need the direct labor cost as well. To find the direct labor cost, we need direct labor hours and the overheads. Overheads, we already calculate the total overheads over here, right? And yes, the total labor hours, the total here, we already calculated it. We already calculated it. Now tell me, where do we find the raw material cost and the labor cost? Because without them, you're not able to find the raw material cost for product A, B, C. Where is it? We have the usage in the table. See, usage in the table is given. Machine hours, sorry, not machine hours, direct labor hours, raw material usage given. Where is the cost? Who can tell me? Take a minute and find out. Where is the cost? Here, information is only direct labor hours, raw material usage per kilogram. Where is the cost? We need the cost. Where is it? Why is everyone quiet? Who can find it? Let's see who can find it. Read the question. Somewhere in the question, the information is given. Did anyone find it? No? It's given in the paragraph. Yes, it is given in the paragraph here. The price of the raw materials remained constant throughout the year, and it is 1.2. 1.2. And the labor cost was 14.8. 14.8. And now we have overhead 28.3, 28.3. We found the OAR. How do we find the OAR? We took the total overhead cost, the total overhead cost divided by the number of labor hours, total number of labor hours. We found the OAR, right? We found the OAR. So labor hours into 28.3. So everyone calculate. So I'm going to list down usage. It is, so for product A, it will be, I'm going to delete everything, okay? Right. Usage for product A, it is 2 into, let me use a different color. I think red would be visible. Yeah. 2 into 1.2. Where did I get 2? It's here. Yeah, I'm referring to this line, okay? For the usage. Then we have 3 into 1.2. 4 into 1.2. We do the same to this. Labor hours, 0.1 into 14.8. Here, again, it is 0.15 into 14.8. And then the next one, 0.2 into 14.8. Calculate. Everyone calculate and see whether the answer is right. And labor hours, we already found it. Sorry, the labor hours into the overhead absorption rate is already here. Where are the labor hours? Oh, I think I've taken it. Oh, no, it's correct. It's correct. Oh, labor hours is the same thing, 0.1. 0.1 into 28.3. Everyone, please calculate. 0.15 into... Somebody's connection is bad. And then finally, 0.2 into 28.3. Everyone, please calculate. Please calculate. And see whether you got the answer right. Is it similar to the answers given on the document? Any differences? No? It's the same? Sure? Yes. Okay, great. Let's move on. So far, did you understand? Yes? Everyone got it? Yes. How about the others? Great, great. So now we're moving on to the ABC method. We'll do the ABC method and then come back to traditional. Then you will feel a difference. Then you'll be like, oh, the traditional is way more easier than the ABC. Now let's look into the ABC method. Now, when we calculate the overhead absorption rate for traditional, what did we do? We totaled, right? We took all the overheads and then added it together. Yeah? And then what did we do? We took the total labor hours and got the overhead absorption rate. Finished. So overheads, we got the answer for ABC. And what is special here? We only used what? One cost driver for all the overheads. You get me? We used only one cost driver for all the overheads because we totaled the overhead cost, found the OAR, and we used only one cost driver. Now, how about ABC? Look into this example. We treated each overheads as separate costs. So we have to find OAR. We have to find the OAR for each of these overheads. In traditional, they totaled used one cost driver and got the OAR. But here we have to find the OAR for each and every overhead cost. This is the difference between ABC and traditional. And you can understand this gives a more accurate picture because each overhead is treated with the accurate or with its related cost driver. Get me? Let's do the calculation now. So machine setup, we've taken the overhead costs, 26,550, 66,400, which is over here, 48,000, 48,000, 54,320, 54,320. Done. Number of production runs per annum. So now what do? We have to take the number of production runs per annum. Where is it? Number of production runs per annum here. 16, 12 plus 8. We're going to total it. 36. 36. I will come to machine running cost at last. Let's go to procurement cost. They are using their cost driver is number of purchase orders. Where do we have it? Over here. So 24 here, there is an error here. Number of purchase orders. Oh, not here. There's not an error here. I think there's an error here. Somewhere here. Yes, there is an error here. Right. Number of purchase orders. How much is it? 24, 28, and 42. Done. Now, delivery cost, number of delivery retailers per annum, there is an error. So we need to correct it. So 48 correct, but here it's not 30, it is 60. Right? It is 60. Look at the question. It is 60. And this is not 62, it is 32. Right? It is 32. Let me rewrite it. I think that's better. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'll just cut that off. And rewrite it. If not, it's confusing. So here it will be 48 plus 60 plus 32. Clear? So now what do we do here? We add them. 36, 94, and I think it's 140. 48 plus 60 plus 32. Yes, it is 140. That is correct. Now comes the question, procurement cost, number of purchase orders per annum. Number of, sorry, not procurement cost, machine running cost. Number of machine hours per annum. Now, you might ask me, okay, we have the information, look at this table, we have the machine hours, but machine hours per unit. What is the requirement? Machine orders or machine hours per annum. What do? We need to calculate per annum. How do we do it? We have the production and sales in units here. So we are simply going to multiply 15,000 into 0.5, 12,000, which is over here, into 0.7, and 18,000, which is here, and 0.9 to get the total machine hours per annum. Clear? Total machine hours per annum, because that is a requirement per annum. All these are per annum, per annum, per annum, not per unit. So as you can see in the question, the rest of the information, they've given it in per annums, except the machine hours and labor hours, which is in units. And that's the reason we had to calculate it per annum. So far, is it clear? Everyone? Type 1 in the chat box if it's clear. Yes, how about the others? Type yes or type 1 on the chat box if you understood. Yes. Okay. Everyone, I need everyone to respond. If you're not responding, then you're not listening to me, you're doing something else. So I need 16 responses. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Where are the others? 5 more responses. Let me count again. We have 1, 2. Some of them direct message me, so you might not see it on the meeting chat. So I'm counting it with that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Only 11. So where are the other 5? Okay, something is wrong with Fahir's connection. He keeps going out, coming back, going out, coming back. Okay, let's continue. So now you can see overhead absorption rate. We calculate the OAR for each overheads. Yeah, but in traditional, we simply calculated the total overheads, got the cost driver, got the OAR, finished. Here, we have to do it for each and every overhead. Now let's move on to calculate the cost per unit. Easy. Since we have the OAR for everything, it's easy now. So we have to take the material cost per unit. We already calculated the material cost per unit. Oh, I didn't calculate this. Did I calculate? I did, right? Yeah, I did. I mean, you did it, not me. I didn't calculate it. You did it, calculate it. Right here, material cost and labor cost is going to be the same as the traditional. See this, 2.4, 3.68, 1.48, 2.22, 2.96. It's going to be the same information for the ABC system as well. So here there's an error. I've corrected it's 2.96. So initially this document had 1.96. Let me check again whether there's any error. 2.4, 3.6, 4.8, done. 1.48, 2.22, 2.96. Okay. Now we have to find the machine setup cost. How do we find it? We have the OAR, which is 737.5. So OAR into the machine setup cost, which is given here. So not machine setup cost, the number of production runs. Because machine setup cost goes with number of production runs. Yeah. So we are going to find it for each unit. Therefore, instead of taking the total amount, we have to take individual amounts. So I have to keep annotating. When I annotate and move to the next page, I have to delete it, you know? So that's why it's taking a little bit of time. Right, let's see. So here, machine setup cost, OAR is 737.5 for all 3 units. But what is changing is the number of productions, because A, it's 16, B, it is 12, and C, it is 8. Is it clear? I'll give you time to calculate the total. Next, let's look into machine run cost. Machine running cost. What is the cost driver? Machine running cost, number of machine hours per annum. And 2.0685 is the OAR. So we're going to take 2.0685, 2.0685, 2.0685 into the machine run. Remember, we calculated and found this for A, B, C. Now, let's look into the procurement cost. Procurement cost, what is a cost driver? Number of purchase orders. And OAR is 510.6383. So 510.6383, 510.6383, 510.6383, and number of, what was it? What was their cost driver? Purchase orders, right? Purchase orders. Clear? And finally, delivery cost. Finally, delivery cost. Their cost driver is number of delivery to retailers per annum. And their OAR is 388. So we're going to take the OAR to find the overhead cost per unit. So 388, 388, 388 into number of deliveries to retailers per annum. 48, not 30. This should be 60. Remember? See, this is 60. Correct it. 60. This has to be 60. 32. This has to be 32. I'll correct it. Now, everyone, please calculate and see whether you got the correct answer, whether your answer is similar to one on the screen. If not, we'll have to change it. So 388 into 60, not 30 something, right? The initial one. And this one is 32. Calculate and tell me whether you got it right. Yes, Zahra, no problem. Go ahead. It's fine. So everyone calculate and see whether you got the correct answer. So when you're calculating, make sure that you put this within brackets. This has to be in brackets. If not, you get a different answer. $1,000. That is correct. Everyone calculate. I'm calculating as well. So these numbers are rounded off to their nearest. 388.60, 1.94. See, I said there is an error. 388 into 60. 1.94. Okay, this is 1.94. So it's not 0.97. And I think the other answer is also different. 388 into 32. 0.6. Yes, that is also different. Yes, that is correct, Kaushik. So this answer is also wrong. So the answer is 0.69. So we rounded it off. Okay. Now let's us check the totals. 78, 79, 0.79 plus. Oh, yes. So when you're calculating the total, guys, there's the cost, the cost before. Oh, I should have taken it down. 2.4, 3.6, 4.8. Let's write it. Oh, again, I forgot. 2.4, 3.6, 4.8. Okay. So we have to take that also into consideration. 2.4, 3.8, 4.6. I think I'm right. Let me check. Oh, 3.6. Ah, okay. 3.6. This is 6, huh? Oh, it still looks like an 8. Wait. This is 4.8. Okay. Okay, now let's calculate the total. Okay, the first column is correct. Let's go to the, oh no, I shouldn't say it. So I'm gonna mute the mic. I want you to do the calculation. And if it's correct, drop the answer on the chat box. If it's wrong, tell me the correct answer on the chat box. Yeah, what's happening? Is the answer on the document correct? The total CPU? Yes. Very good, Kaushik. That is correct. Your answer is correct. I'm going to delete it. Okay. I want the others to find out. How about the others? Kaushik got the correct answer. Good job, Kaushik. I want others to find. Quick. I need 5 students to find the correct answer. At least 5 students. Let's see who the first 5 students are. So number 1 goes to Kaushi. Let's see who number 2 is. Who's number 2? Guys, you simply add these. That's it. You simply add these. You simply add these and check whether the answer in the document is correct or wrong. That's it. Quick, quick, quick. I want the other 5 students or the other 4 students to write the answer privately. Okay, direct message. Don't post it on the group. Okay, I've received another answer. Wait, let me check. Column 2. Let me check. Column 2. At this point, after the point, I think there's a minor error. Please calculate again. I think maybe you've written the answer wrong. Maybe column 1 and 2 you got confused. The answer, Kosala, the answer that you gave me is not column 2, it's column 1, right? If it is column 1, your answer is correct. What's the answer for column 2? Column 1, this answer is correct. So since you said column 2, I checked it, it's wrong. Column 1, this answer is correct. Good job. Kosala G, find the answer for column 2. What about the others? Guys, you simply add the total. That's it. Middle column. Oh, you said my middle column. Okay, got it. My mistake. I was only focusing on the second and the third column. Yeah, my mistake. Sorry about it. Your answer is correct, Kosara. Find the one to the last. Find your answer to the last column. That is correct, Kosara. Good job. Excellent. Correct. Very good. Good, Akhtas. Good job. Yes, that is correct. Good job. All right then. So has everyone understood how to do the calculation? Did you understand the difference between traditional and ABC? As you can see, it was very easy to calculate the cost per unit for traditional. See, that's it. Now look at the ABC system. Complicated, yeah? But ABC gives an accurate picture compared to that of traditional costing methods. So thank you so much for attending the session today. We'll wrap up the session. I'll see you tomorrow at the same time.